This video is on the price prediction of Nasdaq 100, which we also refer to as USTec as well as Wall Street 100. And as you guys can see at this point in time, we are indeed on the monthly chart. And again, to recap, the last time we spoke about this particular chart, we had mentioned that we have this very strong level of support at this point, and we said that ideally we want to see the market come back to this level to give it a test. And at that level is where a lot of institutions such as insurers, bankers and so forth will be looking to move the market further up, right? So what I'm saying in other words is that at this point in time, or rather at this level over here, is where I believe we should potentially look for buy opportunities. However, having said that, I'm not necessarily saying that we should buy at that level. I'm saying that at that level we should potentially look for buy opportunities, as chances are we are going to see the market actually move further up, as a lot of big boys or the bigger boys will be coming to the picture to push the price further up, right? I'm just going to mark that area. Just bear with me. Let's have a look. As I said, this is a very strong level of support, and from here I'm just going to head down to the weekly chart, and here we are on the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, we can see that the market for the most part is in a very strong upward trend, as you guys can see, which means that for the most part we should indeed be looking for buy opportunities. However, having said that, just bear in mind that the market had given us this double top over here, which has a neckline around that level, if I can just draw it properly, right? And you guys know that whenever we have these patterns such as this particular double top, we want to see price closing below the neckline and then come back to the neckline to give it a test. And where the neckline is generally where we look for those potential sell opportunities, especially if the neckline, as I always say, aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool, right? So as I said, price closed the bottom side of that neckline, went back up to the neckline to give it a test, and at this point over here is where I believe that we may potentially look for sell opportunities. However, remember guys, I'm just speculating. I'm not necessarily saying that we should sell. I'm saying we should look for potential sell opportunities. And also remember I said that especially if that zone, which is now a very strong level of resistance, aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool, right? So I'm just going to add my neckline, then I'm going to check if any key numbers align with that level on the Fibonacci retracement tool. Let's see. And there we go guys, we can see that the neckline, which is over here more or less right of this particular double top, aligns with, we could say, the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, right? So that's confluence in as far as looking for potential sell opportunities goes at that point, right? Remember, let me just delete this structure. Remember, number one, we have this double top, right? Number two, we have price closing to the bottom side of that neckline. Number three, we have the neckline being a very strong level of resistance at this point in time. Number four, the neckline also aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, right? So that adds as confluence in as far as potentially looking for sell opportunities to around that level. And remember again that at this level is where I said that potentially we may look for those buy opportunities, right? Anyway, from here I'm just gonna head down to the daily chart, and here we are on the daily chart. And in regards to the daily chart, we can see that at this point in time we are in a clear downtrend, right? It's visible, it's plain to see for everyone, to see. Let's have a look. We can see that we are in a strong downward trend in as far as the daily chart goes. However, just bear in mind what I said guys, that ideally we want to see price actually moving further down to around that level, and here is where we would look for potentially those buy opportunities, right? And also again, just to recap, remember we had this double top over here which has a neckline there. Price broke to the bottom side, went up to the neckline to give it a test, and where we have that neckline, right, we also have a very strong level of resistance, and the very same level aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, which adds as confluence in as far as looking for potential sell opportunities goes at this point in time, right? But here we are on the daily chart again, and again, remember, we are in a downward trend in as far as the daily chart goes, and for the most part, I believe that we should be looking for potential sell opportunities, at least up until the market reaches this level or actually breaks above this channel over here and starts to potentially move up, right? But for the most part, I believe that we should be looking for sell opportunities. Anyway, I don't see anything further in as far as the daily chart goes, but I also want to mention that we actually have here some very interesting candlesticks, such as this one over here, which is a bearish candlestick with a small body and quite a long lower wick. And we know that where that wick ends at the bottom, we have a lot of liquidity there, and it indicates that chances are we're going to see price at some point come back to this level to grab that liquidity. Anyway, from here, let's head down to the H4 chart and let's have a look. And remember, guys, on the daily chart, we spoke about how the market is in a downward trend and that for the most part, we should be looking for sell opportunities. However, on the H4 chart, we can see that we are in an upward trend, right? And we can also see that price or the market at this point in time is more or less at that level, which is where we have the channel, and where we have the channel as well as this very strong level of resistance over here is where we may potentially see the market start to move further down, right? Anyway, here we are, as I said, on the daily chart, and on the H4 chart. And what else do we see on the H4 chart? Another thing that I see on the H4 chart is that we have this candlestick again, right? If I can just mark it properly, right? It's very much similar to that liquidity candlestick that I spoke about earlier, which has a small body and quite a long lower wick, and it tells us that at the bottom there we have a lot of liquidity there, and that liquidity is money, and as you guys know, that money needs to be triggered by the market at one point or another, right? But what else do we see, guys? Another thing that I see that is also very much interesting is that we have this area over here. If I can just mark it properly, this area over here is a very strong level of support, right? And to add to that, it says that we had this overextended W structure, and again, it is an overextended W structure or double bottom, because the first leg, as I always say, is much lower than the second leg, excuse me, and it has, as you guys can see, a neckline there, right? So as much as I'm saying that at this point in time, or rather where the market is currently, is where we may potentially look for sell opportunities, just bear in mind that it is quite possible that we may see price actually move further down to around this level, which is where we have the neckline. And at that neckline is where again we may potentially see the market move further up, right? So I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I'm just going to add a neckline for that structure. Just bear with me. There we go. There goes a very strong level of support. And again, I'm going to utilize Fibonacci just to see if we have any key numbers that align with that neckline. So just bear with me, guys. Let's see Fibonacci. Let's have a look. Yeah, so more or less we can see that where we have the neckline, which is over here, of this overextended W structure, the very same neckline more or less aligns, we could say, with the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement level, which means that, as I said, we may potentially see the market come back to that level. And at that level is where again we may see potentially price move further up. So what I'm saying, in other words, that we need to be careful. As much as I'm saying that remember, on the bigger time frames, we have the double top, we have price closing below this neckline, and again at this point we saw price again moving further down and then again pushing further up to retest that neckline. And I said that at this point is where we may potentially look for sell opportunities. Just bear in mind that price may only move to around this level, and at this level is where we may potentially see the market again move further up, right? So as much as I'm saying, guys, that we are likely going to see price move further up, it is also quite possible that the market may actually, from this level over here, actually move further up. I just hope what I'm saying makes sense. And just to zoom in, guys, in fact, before we continue, I just want to add my channel for that H4 chart. Just bear with me. I would add my channel more or less in this manner for now. There we go. There we go, right. And just to zoom in, guys, another thing that I also want to bring to your attention is that we have this candlestick over here, and again, it is a bearish candlestick with a small body and quite a long upper wick, and it tells us that we may be getting ready to see a reversal of sorts, and we may potentially see the market first move to this level and then potentially move further down to those levels that I spoke about, right? But just to zoom out and to go back to the daily chart, remember what I said, guys, that ideally, if I can just zoom in a bit, ideally you want to see price actually move all the way to this level, because at this level is where a lot of institutions will be looking to add to their trades and move the market further up, right? And as much as I'm saying that we may see potentially the market only come back to this level, which is where we have the neckline of, right, that overextended W structure, and that we may potentially see the market move further up, my bias is for price to actually move further down, and at the very least to around this level, right? But ideally I want to see price come back to this level, and at this level is where myself personally I will be looking to move or to buy, and my first take profit should be around here, because there is the neckline of this double top that we spoke about, so as well as a very strong level of resistance. But just also bear in mind that if I can just zoom in, remember that whenever we have these double tops, right, what happens quite often is that a lot of traders and investors actually sell on the second leg of that double top, and they place their stop losses just above. So it makes sense actually for the market to one day move all the way to that level to grab all of those stop losses.